are the normal serum protein, constitutes around 5% of serum protein, and they are actually they are antigen non-specific. That is, their level do not increase or decrease following antigen exposure. Their level do not increase or because they are antigen non-specific, and also they are species non-specific. Of course, they are heat labile, and they have a property of binding to Fc portion of antibody. Okay, there are three pathways. What are the three pathways? Classical, mannose binding or lectin pathway, and alternate pathway. The differences between the three pathways is frequently asked MCQ. I will tell you first classical, then I will explain the other two. Classical pathway, can you tell me which of these three pathway is antibody dependent? They say that classical pathway alone is antibody dependent. Mannose binding and alternate pathway is antibody independent. So when an antigen comes in classical pathway, first the respective antibody will go and bind. Which antibody will bind? Either IgM or IgG312. And to the Fc portion of the antibody, the first complement will come and bind. And in classical, the first complement to be activated is C1. I will tell you a very easy code. Please remember, 142 is extra required for classical. Okay, whereas 42 is extra required for mannose binding. Whereas alternate binding 142 not required. 142 not required. This is a code what you have to remember, so that it is easy to reproduce in exam. So what happens is, the first complement is C1. The first complement, you can have a look on the last, that is 72 number page, so that it is easy to mark also. So the first complement is C1, which will come and bind. C1 in turn will activate C4. C4 will activate C2. C2, once it is activated, it will activate C3, and C3 in turn will activate C5. Once C5 is activated, C6, 7, 8, 9 will join the party, and all together it is called as membrane attack complex. Why? Because it will attack the membrane and it will form pore that lead to lysis of the microbial surface. Alternate pathway, how it is different? The antigen of alternate pathway is usually LPS or endotoxin antigen. LPS or endotoxin antigen is the usual antigen of the alternate pathway, and this antigen, when it comes, they say that it is antibody independent, doesn't induce, it will not bind to antibody. What it does is, it will act on the free C3b. The free C3b which is present in the serum, that will be converted to activated C3. That will be converted to activated C3. And this occurs through a series of activators, like for example, first factor B is activated, then factor D is activated, then properdin is activated. So all these are the intermediate activators, following which finally C3 is activated. and once C3 is activated, the remaining pathway is same. The remaining pathway is same. Mannose binding pathway is that they say that mannose antigens are specialized lectin, they are the carbohydrate antigens on bacterial surface. Mannose antigens are specialized carbohydrate antigen on bacterial surface. So when these type of bacteria will enter, first they will bind to host lectin. First they will bind to host lectin. Once they are bind to host lectin, the mannose binding pathway is activated, and the mannose binding pathway is exactly same as classical except the first step. What is the first step of classical? Which complement is activated first in classical? So you remove that, remaining same. That means first C4 is activated, then C2, then the remaining pathway is same. So this is the outline of the complement pathways. So if you are done with the outline of complement pathway, then I will tell you the differences. The differences are antibody dependent. Which is antibody dependent? Classical is antibody dependent, where lectin and alternate are antibody not dependent. That is why they say that classical is a part of acquired immunity, whereas lectin and alternate pathway are part of innate immunity. Okay. The first complement to be activated. First complement to be activated in classical is C1, alternate C3b, lectin C4. First C4 is activated. Then also they ask the complement level. Complement level, easy to remember, is whichever complements are utilized, though that level will be decreased. If a complement is not utilized by the pathway, it will be normal in their level. Like for example, in classical, C1 to C9 all are utilized, so the entire all complement level will be decreased. In lectin, which is not utilized, C1 is not, so C1 will be normal, other decrease. Alternate pathway C1, 4, 2 not utilized, they will be normal, other will be decreased. So by this you can know which complement pathway is activated. Okay. Then we can discuss about some of the complement deficiencies. Complement deficiencies, like for example, early complements like C1, 2, 3, 4, early complement deficiency leads to increased pyogenic infection and increased SLE. Similarly, late complement deficiency like the membrane attack complex, if this level is decreased, that leads to increased Neisseria and toxoplasma. Okay, and there is one more important complement deficiency, that is C1 esterase inhibitor deficiency. If C1 esterase inhibitor deficiency takes place, that leads to increase C1 esterase. C1 esterase means it is the active C1. If active C1 is increased, that means that leads to classical pathway will be activated, the whole classical pathway will be activated, and that leads to increased production of C2b, and C2b has got kinin like activity, and that leads to production of a very important condition called as angioneurotic edema. Increased scanning like activity is responsible for edema in angioneuritic edema. Okay, so nothing but, I mean, broadly you can remember that C1 esterase inhibitor deficiency leads to angioneuritic edema. Okay, so all these are various complement.